Thank you, Dr. Oyintonyo Michael-Olomu, for coming on the program today.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Oyintonyo is a Nigerian academician with research interests in industrial sociology and personnel management. She was the first female deputy dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences. She was the immediate past head of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, and currently she is the director, Institute of Foundational Studies, all at the Federal University Otuoke. Today we'll be looking at the gender gap in education and the effect of technology. In 2020, the enrollment rate for girls in primary education was 55.1% compared to 63.5% for boys. They also said in 2020 that 22.5% of girls completed junior secondary education versus 34.6% of boys. And in 2018, according to the World Bank, the literacy rate for women aged 15 to 24 was 59.3% compared to 73.1% for men. And Nigerian Bureau of Statistics says the literacy rate shows a stark contrast where you have 68.4% of adult males literate compared to 49.4% of adult females. And the World Bank says if we reduce the gender gap in education, it could increase Nigeria's GDP by 12%. So, Doc, in your experience, what are the most significant barriers that are impacting this gender equality in respect to assessing quality education globally in a larger scale, and of course, bringing it back home in Nigeria?
As a sociologist, looking at the global scale, that basically one of the barriers we face is on cultural norms and values. Now, we have a system globally now that have certain favoritism, so to put, for patriarchy. And this automatically plays a disadvantage for the girl child. If you look at statistics drawing from Afghanistan now, in Afghanistan, it's well known in Afghanistan that the cultural norms and values tend to restrict girls' access to education, with just about 36% of girls being literate. And then when we compare to boys' literacy in Afghanistan, we have about 62%. And also, if we look at Chad, you also see the barrier of culture here, where for Chad, we have only 1 in 4 girls that can read. So that's also a problem. And then if we draw again references to Yemen, we have 35% of females compared to 75% of male. Go to South Sudan, we have where only 1 out of 10 girls that can read. So disproportionately, you will not agree with me that cultural norms and values also play a barrier to girl child being disadvantaged or inaccessible to education. Now, let's draw it down now to our country, Nigeria. We'll also find I'm so glad you gave us some statistics from UNICEF, okay? And UNICEF also says that about 67% of the girl child is at disadvantage, especially in the north, when we talk about girl child education. So we have culture as a barrier, and then we also have issues of poverty. Poverty plays disproportionate impact on girls when it comes to education. Poverty, look at people in the rural areas. How many of them have access or income that can fund a girl child to education? Don't forget that most times culture tends to domesticate the girl child. So already the girl child is already at disadvantage from the home where they are being domesticated. Then you now look at issues of insecurity back home. This brings to mind the Chibok girl issue, where about 276 girls, if I can get that right, because it was in 2014, where they were being kidnapped. So while we're looking at culture, we're looking at poverty, we have issues also on insecurity. All this also lay back the girl child from being educated, in my opinion.
Looking at all you've said, cultural, societal expectations, do these also affect the choice of career for those that have access to education? Is there any effect of it on them?
I would want to say yes, it does. It does because, culture also plays the role whereby the girl child is being oriented towards believing that I don't want to, okay, let me just say in quote, is a man's world. So, and then over time, girl child or women are being domesticated into believing that, oh, they have to, not to compete, but reverence, respect the man. So even our choice of careers are being influenced. That will be drawn from the family. You find out where they say engineering, STEM courses are being left for men because they feel, oh, men are being are wired with certain characteristics like energy, muscles. They are more powerful. They are stronger. So from the home already, from the front line of the home, women are also being domesticated in orientation, domesticated and given an orientation that there are certain causes that are left out for a particular gender, which is the male gender now. So it has a role to play. I want to believe so.
Okay, Doc, with innovations and technologies everywhere, has these innovations in terms of digital learning, those platforms, have they impacted gender disparities in education?
I want to thank God that today we're talking about digital learning, and in our climb, I think the awareness is gradually coming up because I think digital learning, this is one access we are having, like myself and you talking. So I would want to say, yes, it has contributed, but we are not there yet. That's the truth. Females or girl child or women in the tech space, we are not there yet. The awareness is still very low. Okay, even if we want to agree that positively, digital learning bridge existing geographical barriers, but we are still not there yet, as a lot of females or girl child are still being limited, which is a negative impact now. They are still being limited to have access to e-learning. Thank God for AI, artificial intelligence, which is beautiful and can help bridge that gap. But the question is, how many of us women or females that are having these privileges to such access or platform of learning? It also falls back to the home front parenting. How many parents, they would want to be concerned that, if my girl child is exposed with phones and all that, she will be vulnerable to certain things. But you see, the guys are giving this access easily even from the home, because parents will think, we are protecting our girl child from not being, maybe, I don't want to say cyberbullying, which is also a problem. They will say, let them not be vulnerable to whatever that is unknown, the fears in always having to protect the girl child. So they might even have money and provide for the male instead. Let them be on several mobile apps, on learning platform than the girl child. So it's also a problem when we look at the availability of digital learning for the girl child also. Because one, even a lot of women are not embracing online learning. They are not even used to technology to say. So how do they now start giving, how do you give out what you're not used to your children or your girl child? So it's also a problem. So I would want to say the disadvantage outweighs the advantage of the availability of technology to learning, and also pose a barrier for the girl child. Because as a woman, if I have access and I understand the power of let's say AI, artificial intelligence, I should be able to want to introduce it to my children, you get. But we also we don't have that access. If we want to be practical, how many women go to the marketplace, or say even go to some office environment, so to say, in today's society? Ask how many women what they can do with AI, or what is even AI. It will shock you that some women are still not exposed. The men, which is still patriarchy, they are still striving more as regards technology. They strive more.
Okay, Doc, your concerns are practical enough. And if you were to be in a place, as maybe, for example, these concerns and issues are brought to your table, what will you do differently? What policies, what innovations do you think can be brought to the table to help to close this gap?
There are a lot to do, and I also want to commend the policies. I think there's a policy on national gender, I think, to basic education. There's a policy on that. But however, there is need for gender responsive budget role for women. You get, and I want to say that the women that are already in place, the women caucus, so to say, they should put this female education or girl child education as part of their priority and pursue it at all levels, at the legislation level, no matter how difficult the challenges they tend to face. They should see to that it comes to friction, because my dear, even in the north, I think in the north particularly, a lot of parents wouldn't want their children to go to school. They are scared, they are afraid because of the unknown. One of their focus should look at gender responsive budgeting for women education. I think if we do that, I think it will help a lot. And then government scholarships platforms should be created more for female too. If we have not just at the federal level, both state and the local government level, especially, it's so disheartening that in this place, if you go to a lot of rural communities, at the slightest challenge female children encounter, they tend to drop out of school. That's not good enough. We should have sponsorship platforms and then mentoring too. We have, like for me, I can say I'm also filling in that gap. Mentoring, people like us should go back to our various communities and then start mentoring young girls, telling them the benefits of being educated, creating, even if it's, I know we have government soft loans, because while I was HOD, I see some people come to take loans to go to pay fees and all that. So make them have this orientation that there are loans available that you can pay your fees, so you don't say, I couldn't go to school because there's no money. So create more awareness, do orientation on the benefit of going to school at the rural communities, get a budgeting for specifically for female or girl child education. And with that, I think we can strive or do better.
So, Doc, looking ahead, what do you believe are the most promising technological innovations that can significantly impact this?
I think we should embrace it because technology has come to stay. And for me, technology is going to be the new oil well. So we are all striving to be tech inclined or tech compliant. So I would want to encourage a lot of us that this is our new reality. Gone are the days we start fighting for tech has come to stay. And the earlier we embrace this reality and in fact, it makes life very easy. With tech, a lot of things are just at your beck and call. Informations are there. So I would want to encourage every one of us to leverage on technology and thereby implementing inclusive policies that can create a more equitable and inclusive learning environment for all.
Thank you so much, Doc. We're running out of time. What's going to be your final word for us today?
Finally, I want to say girl child education should be one of our priority at all levels. And I think we should break systemic barriers that pose a threat towards girl child education at all levels, especially the issues of poverty and insecurity. Thank God a lot of culture has been able to see, they have been able to see the importance of the girl child. However, that's not good enough. We should still do more in that regard, so as at the end of the day, the girl child also will have a voice and break glass ceilings no matter what.
Thank you so much, Doc, for sharing your time and thought with us on the program today. And like what Doc has said, technology is here and we need to embrace it and see how it can help us in a positive way. Thank you, Doc, once again for sharing your time and talking to us on the program today.